from laptop. Okay. We'll continue from where we left, but give me some 1 2 minutes. Meanwhile, what all of you can do is you can go through shloka number 41 to 56 for 5 minutes, and then quickly go through the translations. So all of you are
So all of you could go through the section 41 to 56. Okay, take time till around 7:05. It's 7:02 now. Take 3 more minutes. Then you can read the quickly try to read the translation from 41 to 55. Hmm? Hare Krishna. So hope all of you have tried your best to read the translation. We'll start now. 18th chapter speaks about the summary of all the rest of Bhagavad Gita. So from first verse to 12th verse, the whole 18th chapter begins with the understanding of Krishna is being asked by Arjuna, Tyaga and Sannyas. So 1 to 12, Krishna's opinion about Tyaga and Sannyas continues based on karma. Then from 13 to 17, Krishna's definition of Tyaga and Sannyas based on 5 factors, that is Gyan. And then Krishna starts explaining about worker, and the knowledge in 3 modes. So 20 to 22, 21, 22, 20, 21, 22 speaks about knowledge in 3 modes. And then after that, 22, 23, 24, 25 speaks about karma, that is work in 3 modes. And then from 25, 26, 27, 28 speaks about worker in 3 modes. And then it doesn't stop there. From 29 to 32, it goes to explain the intelligence in 3 modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. 33, 34, 35 speaks about the determination in 3 modes. And we ended with 36, 37, 38, 39. 36, 37 spoke about happiness in goodness. 38 spoke about happiness in passion. 39 spoke about happiness in ignorance. That which is nectar in the beginning, poison in the end. Which is that happiness? Yes.
Bliss.
Nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. Which is that happiness? In which mode?
Passion mode.
It's in goodness.
Passion. And poison in the beginning and nectar in the end. Which is that happiness?
Goodness.
Goodness, yeah.
And poison in the beginning, while intermediate, and at the end. Which is that happiness?
Ignorance. Ignorance.
Basically, the 18th chapter, first 40 verses are very easy. So in 40th verse, Krishna concludes, nobody is there who is born in the whole world who is free of modes. To some degree or the other is in either goodness, passion, ignorance, based on where is situated. If in upper planetary system, goodness predominates, the middle planetary system, passion, and the lower planetary system, the ignorance. So we had touched there. So what Krishna is going to explain now is, although nobody can explain modes, but one has got the body. Like we have seen in Ishopanishad, Vidyam cha Vidyam cha, Yastad Veduvayam sa, Avidyam Vidyam Tirtva, Vidyam Amritam Ashmute. And also we have seen Sambhutim cha Vinasham cha, Yastad Veduvayam sa, Sambhutim cha Vinasham cha Vrityam Tirtva, Sambhutim Amritam Ashmute. So it's something like avidya should be utilized to transcend ignorance. That is bodily knowledge, to transcend the birth and death. So similar, Krishna is telling best is the bad already about the body. We better use that body. Along with the body, we get about karma, swabhava. So better we utilize our body in performing things according to our nature. So that is 41st verse. We share the screen. Let me know if I'm not able to, if you're not able to hear me because of some reasons. Okay. Chali, we'll start. Yes. So now, what is the connection? Modes. Nobody is free of modes. So living body filled with the 3 modes becomes successful by worshipping the Lord through prescribed duties. This is described in the next 6 verses, 41 to 46. So we can purify our bad bargain. Best is of bad bargain by engaging in Krishna's service. Therefore, how to purify that? By acting according to one's nature. So, what are the prescribed duties for Brahmana? What are the prescribed duties for Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? All is being discussed here, because all these qualities are because by birth, by one's qualification and birth. So, Krishna is telling one should utilize those prescribed activities according to one's acquired nature for worshipping or for pleasing Sam Siddhim Haritoshanam, the Supreme Lord. So, we'll start from 41. This section 41 to 56 is a little technical. So therefore, I'm going to touch this part in today's discussion. And the next part, again, from 66 to 76, 56 to 66 is quite devotional. And then 67 to 78 is just a conclusion. But this is little technical, so try to focus on it. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham, Brahmana Kshatriya Visham, Shudranam cha Parantapa, Karmani Prabhaktani, Swabhava Prabhaver Gunai. Yes. Devotees who want to read, they can read. We have only 2 classes remaining now.
I'll read for you.
I'm not going to be behind you. Whoever is wishing to read, they can read. Yes.
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of the enemy. Next, Krishna explains the qualities of work for those in each of the 4 varnas.
Okay, somebody can read this all conditioned souls. Mata is very interested in reading
Krishna,
41. Somebody else can read this one.
Can I read from here?
Yeah.
All conditioned souls are controlled by the 3 modes of nature. As Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport, the modes of material nature determine all activities, high, low, and in between, within every planetary system in the universe. Krishna is developing a summary of all the prior chapters. As a basic summary of the first 6 chapters, he explained karma and how detached work frees us from material bondage. Next, he summarized the third set of 6 chapters, the Jnana chapters, in which work free of reaction is explained from the viewpoint of Jnana. When the eternal soul accepts that he is not the doer and surrenders to the ultimate sanctuary of all activities, the super soul, no reactions are accrued by him. Krishna concluded by explaining the actual doer in the material world, the 3 modes of material nature. Krishna will now describe the progressive journey through karma and jnana to realization of the super soul. He will then reach the philosophical conclusion of Bhagavadgita, Bhakti, in which the living entity not only realizes the super soul, but surrenders to him, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, so what is being told here? First 1 to 12, karma was spoken. Detachment through karma. Then 13 to 18, jnana was spoken. And later on, 3 modes was being discussed to reach the philosophical conclusion. And now, purification to prescribed duties. So basically again karma. So from 41 to 48 is going to speak about purification to prescribed duties. Basically, if you see section from first verse till 48th verse is basically speaking about karma. How by utilizing by karma yoga, we can purify ourselves. And from 49 onwards, Krishna is going to speak about the destination of the Jnanis, 49 to 55. And from 56 till 66, it is pure bhakti, Sarvodhan Bhakti till that point. And then later on conclusion. These are the 4 parts of 18th chapter. And the 18th chapter is just a summary of all 3 sections of Bhagavad Gita: karma, jnana, and bhakti. We have 3 parts in Bhagavad Gita: first 6, middle 6, last 6. First 6 speaks about karma yoga, middle 6 speaks about bhakti yoga, the last 6 speaks about jnana yoga. So what Krishna is telling is, because Arjuna has to do fight. So Krishna is encouraging him from first verse to 48th verse that you cannot do any other activity. Basically, Arjuna told, I'll go and beg. But Krishna is going to tell, you can't do any other activity because you have to do work of your Varna. Therefore, from first verse to 47th verse, Krishna is speaking about that thing, that Arjuna may have this in his mind that he wants to give up his activity. But even if faulty, his own activity should do, but should not somebody else's activity. So there, karma culminates. And then later on, he speaks about perfection of Brahman. That is the last 6 chapters. Then he comes from 56 to 66 about middle 6 chapters, Bhakti. And then from 67 onwards, he just concludes. So let's explore the last part of this karma. Hope all of you are able to understand this. I'm not making it very complicated. Shamotamastapa shaucham, shantir arjamamev cha, jnanam vijnanastikyam, brahma karma subhavajam. Yes, somebody else can read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I read?
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
So what is the nature of what Brahmanas have, which all qualities? How to understand when is Brahmana? By not by birth, but by one's qualification. Shamo, peacefulness, dhamma, self-control, tapa, austerity, saucham, purity, shanti, tolerance, arjavam, self-control, honesty. Arjavam is honesty. Jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, wisdom. Aistikyam, astikyam, religiousness. These are all born. These are qualities which take birth among those who develop qualities of a Brahman. So that is what is being told here. Yes, Brahmanas' work is to cultivate and teach these qualities. Gurujan was saying, not only should cultivate, after cultivating, one should also teach this. Therefore, they are called as the head of a society. Yeah. Next. So next 42nd spoke about the qualities of a Brahmana. 43rd is going to speak about the qualities of a Vaishya. Shauryam tejo dhritir daksham yuddhe chapi apalayanam danam ishvara bhavascha shatram karma swabhavajam. Yes.
I'll read, Prabhuji. Translation. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas.
Yes. So what are the qualities of Kshatriyas is being spoken here? Shauryam, heroism. If you go to the 11th canto, Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. What is actual Shauryam? Actual Shauryam is to control one's Swabhava. Vijayam, Swabhava, Shaurya, Vijayam, Swabhava. Somebody can control, win over one's Swabhava, that is Shaurya. Teja, it's power. Dhriti, determination. Taksham, resourcefulness in battle, ability to fight in battle. We should not flee from battle. That is like Dhanam, generous. Leadership qualities. These are the qualities of a Kshatriya. Yes, you can read this, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. A Kshatriya must have Ishvara Bhava, the ability to control others, but he must use such power for the protection, not the exploitation of the citizens.
Yes. Kshatriya means he need to control, but not for one's exploitation, but for protection. Like father in the house has to control his wife, children, everyone, his mother, father. But that is meant for protection, not for exploitation. It's like hands. Rishi Gorakshamanijyam, Vaishyakarma Swabhavajam, Paricharyatmakam Karma, Sudrasyapi Swabhavajam. So this is about Vaishya. Yes, someone can read.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Hmm.
Farming, cow cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras, there is labor and service to others.
Okay. So these are the qualities of Shudras. These are the qualities of Shudras being mentioned here. What are those? Sorry, Vaishyas, not Shudras. Vaishyas and Shudras both combined. So Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijyam. Krishi is agriculture, farming. Goraksha is cow protection, not dairy. Cow protection, Prabhupada's told. Once Haya Guru went to Prabhupada while translating this. Is it Goraksha is dairy? No, he told cow protection. Vanijyam, it's business. So Prabhupada was explaining in one of the purport. Recently I was in Mayapur 4-5 days back. And this comes. Let's go to that purport. Why? Let's little bit explain here. That will be better. Because here this discussion is little, but if we can go to Bhagavatam, where Virat Rupa is born. So from the body of Virat Rupa, all these things are coming. The Bhakti Yoga course, which I am taking, presently I am teaching this one, right? 3620. Yeah. Someone can read this quickly. One devotee can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I will read to
Mm-hmm.
O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virat, the universal form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are the natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of the society.
Yeah. You can read this blue highlighted.
Okay, Prabhuji. One who is not inclined to the Vedic wisdom but to mundane affairs cannot be called a Brahmana, even if he is born of a Brahmana family or father. To have a Brahmana father does not qualify one as a Brahmana. The main qualification of Brahmana is to be inclined to the Vedic wisdom.
Continue.
The Vedas are situated on the mouth of the Lord, and therefore anyone who is inclined to the Vedic wisdom is certainly situated on the mouth of the Lord, and he is a Brahmana. This inclination towards Vedic wisdom is also not restricted to any particular caste or community. Anyone from any family and from any part of the world may become inclined to the Vedic wisdom, and that will qualify him as a real Brahmana. A real Brahmana is the natural teacher or a spiritual master. Unless one has Vedic knowledge, one cannot become a spiritual master. The perfect knowledge of the Vedas is to know the Lord, the personality of Godhead, and that is the end of Vedic knowledge or Vedanta. One who is situated in impersonal Brahman and has no information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may become a Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master. It is said in the Padma Purana. Satkarma Nipuno Vipro Mantra Tantra Visaradaha Avaishnavo Gurur Nasyad Vaishnavaha Swa Pacho Guruhu. An impersonalist can become a qualified Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master unless and until he is promoted to the stage of Vaishnava or a devotee of the personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya, the great authority of Vedic wisdom in the modern age, stated, Kiba Vipra Kibanyasi Shudra Kena Naya Ei Krishna Tattva Veta Sai Guru Haya. A person may become a Brahmana or a Shudra or a Sannyasi, but if he happens to be well versed in the science of Krishna, then he is fit to become a spiritual master. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 8.128. The qualification then of a spiritual master is not to be a qualified Brahmana, but to be well versed in the science of Krishna. One who is conversant with the Vedic wisdom is a Brahmana, and only a Brahmana who is pure Vaishnava and knows all the intricacies of the science of Krishna can become a spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
What we are trying to read in Bhagavad-Gita is simply a basic foundation of what is going to come in Bhagavatam. So in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna is giving these are the qualities, but what are those are very briefly, nicely explained at various places in Srimad Bhagavatam. In 7th canto it comes, but I'm just going to touch this part. because this is going to give a detail about what are different things. So next, it speaks about Kshatriya. Bahubhyo vartata kshatram. Bahubhyo matlab arms. Kshatriyas tad anuvartata. Yo jatas trayate varna paurusham kantaka shatat. Thereafter, the power of protection was generated from the arms of the gigantic Virat form. In relation to such power, Kshatriyas also came into existence. By following the Kshatriya principle of protecting society from the disturbance of thieves and miscreants. Yes, someone can read this one.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
You should need to read loudly. Your sound is coming very low.
Translation.
Yeah, please come close to the system.
Sorry.
Come some more close. I
Thereafter,
think my sound is also coming like that, like of Lakshmikant Pro only, I feel.
thereafter, the power of protection was generated.
Now you read the translation, purport.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Purport, as the Brahmanas are recognized by their particular qualification of inclination towards the transcendental knowledge of Vedic wisdom. So also the Kshatriyas are recognized by their power to protect society from the disturbing elements of thieves and miscreants. The word anuvarta is significant. A person who follows the Kshatriya principles by protecting society from thieves and miscreants is called Kshatriya, not the one who is simply born a Kshatriya. The conception of the caste system is always based on quality and not on the qualification of a birth. Birth is an extraneous consideration. It is not the main feature of the orders and division. In the Bhagavadgita, the qualifications of the
18.41 to 44. Always read the reference.
Yeah, the qualification of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are specifically mentioned, and it is understood that all such qualifications are needed. Therefore, one can be designated as belong to the particular group. Lord Vishnu.
Okay, somebody else can read because it's long purport. Thank you.
Lord Vishnu is always mentioned as the Purusha in all Vedic scriptures. Sometimes the living entities are also mentioned as Purushas, although they are essentially Purushas are Sakti, Parashakti or Paraprakriti, the superior energy of the Purusha. Illusion in the external potency of the Purusha, the Lord, the living entities falsely think of themselves as the Purusha, although they actually have no qualifications. The Lord has the power to protect. Of the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the first has the power to create, the second has the power to protect, and the third has the power to destroy. The word Purusha is significant in this verse because the Kshatriyas are expected to represent the Purusha, Lord, in giving protection to the Prajas, are those who are born on the land or in the water. Protection is therefore meant for both men and animals. In modern society, the Prajas are not protected from the hands of thieves and miscreants. The modern democratic state, which has no Kshatriyas, is a government of the Vaishyas and Sudras and not of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, as formerly. Maharaj Yudhishthira and his grandson, Maharaja Parikshit, were typical Kshatriya kings, for they gave protection to all men and animals. When the personification of Kali attempted to kill a cow, Maharaja Parikshit at once prepared himself to kill the miscreant, and the personification of Kali was banished from his kingdom. That is the sign of a Purusha, or representative of Lord Vishnu. According to Vedic civilization, a qualified Kshatriya monarch is given the respect of the Lord because he represents the Lord by giving protection to the Prajas. Modern elected presidents cannot even give protection from theft cases, and therefore one has to take protection from an insurance company. The problems of modern human society are due to the lack of qualified Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and the over-influence of the Vaishyas and Sudras due to the so-called general franchise.
Vishovartanam tasyorhor loko vitikari vibho Vaishyastad ubhavo vartam nrinam ya samavartayat. Yes, somebody else can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation also, Prabhu, or only Prabhu?
Yeah, please read translation and read loudly. And
yeah, everyone's means of livelihood, namely production of grains and their distribution of the prajas, was generated from the thighs of Lord Gignatic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such activities are called Vaishyas. Purport. The human society means of living is clearly mentioned here as Visa or agriculture and the business of distributing agriculture products, which involves transport, banking, etc. Industry is an artificial means of livelihood, and large scale industry especially is the source of all problems of society. In the Bhagavad-Gita, also the duties of Vaishyas who are engaged in Vaishya are stated as a cow protection, agriculture, and business. We have already discussed that human being can safely depend on the cow and agricultural land for his livelihood. The exchange of produce by banking and transportation is branch of this type of living. The Vaishyas are divided into many subsections. Some of them are called Kshetri or landowners. Some are called Krasna or lawn titlers. Some of them are called Tilavanik or grain raisers. Some are called Grandhavanik, the merchants in spices, and some are called Swarnamanik or merchants of gold and banking. The Brahmanas are the teachers and spiritual masters. The Kshatriyas protect the citizens from the hands of thieves and miscreants, and the Vaishyas are in the charge of production and distribution. The Sudras, the unintelligent class of men who cannot work independently by performing any of the above mentioned activities, are meant to earn their livelihood by serving the three higher classes. Formerly, Brahmanas were given all the necessity of life by the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas because they had no time to spend making a living. The Kshatriyas should collect taxes from the Vaishyas and Sudras, but the Brahmanas were exempt from paying income tax or property tax. That system of human society was so nice that there was no political, social, or economical upheavals. The different castes and Varna classification are therefore essential for maintaining a peaceful human society.
Yes. Basically, this is what I wanted to show you. So last speaks about the Shudras. So amazing proper Prabhupada gives. Yes, somebody else can read this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandapanam. Translation. Thereafter, service was manifested from the legs of the personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function. Situated on the legs are the Sudras, who satisfy the Lord by service. Purport. Service is the real constitutional occupation of all living entities. The living entities are meant to render service to the Lord, and they can attain religious perfection by this service attitude. One can't attain religious perfection simply by speculating to attain theoretical knowledge. The Gnani division of spiritualists go on speculating only to distinguish the soul from matter, but they have no information of the activities of the soul after being liberated by knowledge. It is said that persons who only engage in mental speculation to know things as they are and who do not engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are simply wasting their time. It is clearly said here that the principle of service was generated from the legs of the Lord for the sake of perfecting the religious process. But this transcendental service is different from the idea of service in the material world. In the material world, no one wants to be a servant. Everyone wants to become the master because false mastership is the basic disease of the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul in the material world wants to lord it over others, illusioned by the external energy of the Lord. He is forced to become a servant of the material world. That is the real position of the conditioned soul. The last snare of the illusionary external energy is the conception of becoming one with the Lord. And due to this conception, the snare of illusionary external energy is the conception of becoming one with the Lord. And due to this conception, the illusion soul remains in the bondage of the material energy, falsely thinking himself a liberated soul and as good as Narayana. It is actually better to be a Shudra than to be a Brahmana and not develop the service attitude. Because that attitude alone satisfies the Lord, every living being, even if he is a Brahmana by qualification, must take to the transcendental service of the Lord. Both the Bhagavadgita and the Srimad Bhagavatam confirm that this service attitude is the perfection of the living entity. A Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra can perfect his occupational duties only by rendering service unto the Lord. A Brahmana is supposed to know this fact due to his perfection in Vedic wisdom. The other sections are supposed to follow the direction of the Brahmana. Vaishnava, one who is a Brahmana by qualification and a Vaishnava by action. That will make the entire society perfect in regard to the order of its social construction. A disordered society can't satisfy either the members of the society or the Lord. Even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, but takes to the service of the Lord, not caring for the perfection of his social position, he becomes a perfect human being simply by developing the attitude of service to the Supreme Lord. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, so important. So even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but takes to position, becomes a perfect human being simply by devotion, developing the attitude of service. But what those your work you try to please me and purify. So many times we have this conception of Shudras are untouchable, Shudras are like.
Correct, Shubha. Lost you.
Yes, I think I am no more host now. Dasraj, can you make me co-host? I think I was logged off.
Done, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please make me host so that I can share screen. Yeah. $44. Yeah. So this one we are seeing. So now we understood how many types of Vaishyas are there. There are landowners, then there is spice, Gandhavanik, then there is Suvarnavanik, and there is farmer, the Vanijyavanik, who takes care of the grains. There are so many different type of Vaishyas. The next shloka. Svesve karmanya virata. And this also shloka speaks about Shudras. Paricharyatmakam karma Shudrasyapi svabhavajam. And for Shudras, there is labor and service to others. Basically, these higher class people, Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they have a big responsibility. If they become devotees, automatically Shudras, imagine the top notch, they become devotees. By default, and top notch is very less percent. The intellectual percent is 1. And then the administrative percentage is 9. Ratio I'm telling 1:9:99 Vaishyas, then 999 Shudras. So if you see carefully, out of 1,000, the ratio of intellectual class is 1%, is only 1. It's almost like 0.1%. Then administrative class is 10, is 0.1. Then Vaishyas is 10%. Then remaining 90% is followers are Shudras. So if this top notch of 1 Brahmana, 9 Kshatriyas, 99 Vaishyas, basically total 100 people, they are Krishna conscious. The remaining 900, just by rendering service, they become devoted. They get the Sukruti. Imagine when somebody opens a corporate company and all regular principles are broken. Meat is served, this is served. Okay, people use washrooms. People, after eating, they have to clean dishes. Somebody has to come and serve that food. It's completely Ugra Karma. So what happens, Shudras? They get the result of that Ugra Karma. If you see the same thing when ISKCON temples are opened, the top notch is they are trying to preach Krishna consciousness. Everything is from top to bottom. they are Kshatriyas, system is there, the Brahmanas were able to give vision to the project. And what happens is all the remaining people who are there engaged in, who come and wash vessels, who clean the temple, who are cleaning the drainage, everybody is getting to serve. It's a direct devotional service. They may not understand it, but because the top leaders are Krishna conscious, the whole functioning of the temple, anybody who comes and renders service in temple, somebody comes to temple and cleans the temple, somebody comes to temple and tries to clean the dishes, somebody comes to temple and tries to cleans the temple hall, or somebody is coming to temple hall and trying to take shoes and trying to put in some bag and trying to give them a token. These are all activities of Shudra. But because it is being done in a temple where Krishna is in center, some Siddhim Haritoshan, they are being elevated. So the responsibility lies with the higher class. So the top notch becomes Krishna conscious. Automatically what happens? The followers, 999 Shudras, the percentage of 90% of the people, they will be delivered. And that is what Prabhupada says most of the time. The top notch doesn't do one's work, then what happens? Then automatically they get the responsibility of misguiding all of them also, remaining people. Yes. Sve sve karmani abhirata samsiddhim labhate nara swakarma nirata siddhim yata vindanti tachshunu. Somebody can read?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes.
By translation, by following his quality of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done.
So whatever quality one has, by following that, one can become. So Gurujan was writing here, one can reach perfection by performing those prescribed duties Krishna mentioned in text, basically for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. In which way can one perform those duties to achieve this result? That is discussed in 46 and 47. Yata pravrittir bhutanam yene sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindanti manava. Yes.
Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Translation, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
This is what I was telling. If top notch becomes devotee, the administrator class will follow, the fundraisers will follow, and those who are not able to do any of these things, they just come and pick something from the temple, do any simple seva, kar seva, with hands and legs, they get purified. The whole body gets purified. Yes.
As stated in the 15th chapter, all living beings are fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. That the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all living entities. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadde Asya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And as stated in the 7th chapter of Bhagavadgita, the Supreme Lord by his two energies, his external energy and the internal energy, is all pervading. Therefore, one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnavas devotee worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His external energy is a perverted reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the expansion of his planetary portion, as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the supersoul of all demigods, all human beings, all animals, everywhere. One should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one has his duty to render service unto Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotion service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. This is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesha, the master of the senses, and by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna should be worshipped. If one thinks always in this way in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavadgita 12.7, Desam aham samudrata. The Supreme Lord himself takes charges of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may engage, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection.
Yes, so same thing. You can read this, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, worshipping Krishna by one's own prescribed work, offering it to him, while thinking within one's mind, may my Lord be pleased by this work, one attain to the perfection of real knowledge. Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan raises the question, what if one possesses the nature and the quality of work of one varna, but wishes to perform the work of a different varna? Krishna answered the question in the following text.
So basically what Vishnu Chakravarti is telling here is, initially to come to Krishna consciousness, we should remind ourselves. When you see a moon, we should say this is effulgence of Krishna. When you see a sun, we should understand Prabhasmi says Shurya. And when we drink water, we should understand it's the taste of water. Basically, we should try to see Krishna in this world in which we are trying to live. And that should continue till the time we come to Bhava Bhakti and Prem Bhakti. What happens with us is, we try to do that, but after some 1-2 years, we just forget it. We become mechanical. So therefore, we should read regularly Prabhupada Bhagavad-Gita, books, purports, so that we don't become mechanical. So what Krishna Chakravarti is saying here, whenever we do Ekadashi, we should understand, oh Krishna, we should take a sankalpa. Any festival comes, we should take a sankalpa. This is what I'm planning to do for you today. I'm going to chant this many rounds. I'm going to fast from, okay, not from water. I'll drink water or not water, coconut water. If not milk, okay, I'll take this. No, I will not take any grains. Some sankalpa. And at the end of when you complete it, should tell, oh Krishna, I try to offer this fasting of whatever, if done without water, with what, whatever fasting you have done, whatever sankalpa you have taken, then try to offer that result. I have done this for your pleasure. Kindly bless me with pure devotion at your lotus feet. So basically, whatever one's activities and whatever Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whatever one's occupation is, one should be very conscious of doing it. So through that action, we can elevate. And what if somebody possesses one speciality, but wants to do some other speciality of work? He gets frustrated. That is what is happening in Kali Yuga. Shreyan swadharma viguna paradharma swa anutishtata anushtitat swabhava niyatam karma kurvam napnoti kilbisham. Yes. Somebody else can read.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone can read quickly.
I'll read. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions.
Purport.
One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita, as already discussed in previous verses. The duties of a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahman, although he may have been born into a Brahman family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Lord. The occupational duty of a Brahman is certainly in the mode of goodness, but if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahmin. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies. And sometimes the Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violence and duplicity accompany political affairs, but a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmin. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjun was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
There need be no fear of degradation. In the business field also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit, the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is engaged in an occupation in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahman. This is not recommended. Where one is a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Shudra, doesn't matter. If he serves by his work the supreme personality of Godhead, even Brahmins who perform different types of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals, because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no sin in occurred. In the 3rd chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yagna or for Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord.
Yes. So basically, what it becomes very clear that if you simply follow the Vedic scriptures, Krishna's opinion, it becomes very easy. Many times, so-called politicians, they start a non-violence movement. That is not Krishna's opinion. Like we saw in the 14th chapter 3 modes, 17th chapter 3 modes. In this also we saw 3 modes. Basically, the knowledge might be in goodness, passion, ignorance. Based on that, a person trying to profess a different philosophy. But actually, violence itself is not bad. Telling lies is not bad. Or honest, or like Brahmana's occupation, like killing, sacrificing animals in the yajna, that is also not bad. And for Shudra, he's simply trying to become honest. So he may also have some deficiencies, but that is his varna. But if everything is done with the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, that purifies. That becomes Samsiddhim Hari Toshanam. So therefore, what Krishna is indirectly trying to hint Arjuna is that you are Kshatriya. You should not try to give up and try to go on back like a Brahmana. Better is to do your own prescribed duty of fighting. This is very, very important verse because this makes it very clear.
Prabhu, this ashrama can be changed toward the life of the person, right, Prabhu? Because sometimes somebody can be in Shudra qualities and maybe after some 10 years, he may become Kshatriya or maybe become a Brahmana, right? The knowledge.
Your question is, somebody is born as a Shudra in a Shudra family.
Born or maybe he may perform as a Shudra. Then maybe the mercy of some guru and all, he can get the qualities of Kshatriya or a Brahmana. So then the qualities of he gets the qualities of Brahmana, right? So it's not a constant, right? The person born comes with some qualities that will not exhibit entire life of his life, right?
Basically, why your question I understood. One need not go from a Shudra to become a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra to go back to Godhead. That is not our goal.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada is directly telling goal is to render service. And for Shudras, it becomes very easy to render service.
Yeah.
I understood your quality. That what rises to such question is seeing that a Shudra has to keep on doing cleaning and other things. Okay, one fine day he'll also become Kshatriya, Brahmana. Need not. Need not. Guru will not bless him to do that. Guru will bless him. Better utilize your skills and talents to serve Krishna and go back to Godhead.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question I have, Prabhu, is how one knows that the nature of his qualities, because as you said, it's not by birth, right, or birth by caste. The qualities comes from previous life, and we may know or may not know. So one how we'll identify ourselves, what is our nature of quality? Is it Shudra quality or is it? Because some we can get it from the way we do the work, day-to-day activities, but what is the inherited qualities of us?
See, quality like seed is sown, that is previous life. But from childhood till now, we can ask people around us, okay, take this sheet, description of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishudra, and tick, because it will be difficult for us to understand. but they can tell based on my behavior, can tell me what I am.
Yeah.
Or in olden days, a guru used to do it for his Gurukulis, for his students. Because when a person is from 5 years, he's observing him 5 to 20 years. Immediately they get to know what is Varna and Ashrama. But again, that is not the goal of life. The goal of life is to practice devotion and go back to Godhead. And so it's very important for us that we accept what we are. So you see, since childhood, in schooling, in college, in company, what is our nature? We can engage that nature in Krishna service and get purified.
Yeah.
If our nature is something and somebody gives us some other activity, we will not be able to do it. How to understand? Somebody gives us administration, and we can do what is told to do. Prabhu, take this prasadam bowl and serve it, or you can just clean this place, or okay, you can raise funds, but administration I can't do. So that is not our nature. So you don't have to become sorry for not able to do management. Try to bring people and manage them. Basically, that is the nature of Kshatriya. Okay, I am not able to teach. That is the qualities of the Brahmana. But what I can do, we can see what is in it for me. That quality, that thing we should accept and try to engage in Krishna service. That day will become peaceful. And we can advance swiftly. But we are having some nature, and we want, because that person who has a particular nature is getting a limelight, and everybody wants to know, no, I want to also become like him. I also want to become like him. There starts the problem.
That's what we taught from the beginning, just now.
Huh?
That's what we taught, because when we see somebody like want to see us, when you're a kid, you want to see become a teacher.
So that is a modern day.
Yeah.
You know, you can win. You are powerful. You should be topper. You should be like that. But what Shastras tell is completely different. Whatever skills and talents we have to accept it and render some service for Krishna's pleasure. Whether a Brahmana renders some service for Krishna's pleasure by giving a class and trying to train people, or Kshatriya does and preaches people and brings them and make a community, or a Vaishya raises some funds, or if you have qualities of Shudra, and Shudras are not bad. In fact, the qualities of Shudra are much more, like Prabhupada, I showed that is the reason I showed the purport of Prabhupada. They can easily come and cleanse the temple, serve prasad, they can do what is told, and that is much more easier for them to practice with a simple heart and go back to Godhead. Because basically, living entities are meant to serve Krishna. And the nature of Shudra is to serve the higher classes. So it becomes very easy. So therefore, this is very important in modern present day, that we accept what we are and try to engage in a particular service. Then we become peaceful. Otherwise, the whole world is being trained in such a way that it becomes very tough. Thank you for bringing this point. So our goal is not to change our Varna.
Yeah.
Or Krishna will be happy with us if we become a Brahmana. If not, no. Krishna will be happy with us if we become a devotee.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. It's got a lot of clarity in other personal life also, some clarity.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, one last question, Prabhuji. So if someone is like doing the service in submission to Krishna, so they become automatically Vaishnava, right, Prabhuji?
Vaishnava. And Vaishnava is not nothing to do with Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
Exactly, yeah. So then in that way they can reach Krishna, irrespective of what type of Varna they are.
That is what is being told. Therefore, when I'm playing about devotion, that is Vaishnava. Basically, we are eternally Krishna's eternal part and parcel. So based on body, we have some Swabhava, therefore we are trying to engage that. How to understand when somebody gives a service, it's not clicking. Understand that is not our nature. Somebody tells you, go and preach. And we are trying our best years after year, year after year, and nothing is happening. People become morose. Prabhuji, that devotee came with me, this devotee came with me, everybody came with me, but they are doing such nice. I'm sorry. You are might be for raising funds, or you might be meant for reading Shastras and teaching it, or you might be simply meant for peacefully coming to the programs and prasadam is cooked, he can stand in the line and try to serve. But most of the time, people go into paralysis by analysis mode. Compare, complain, criticize. Again, that is again. So acceptance can makes life simple.
Understood, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So the leaders should also understand it. Everybody cannot preach, everybody cannot give classes, everybody cannot raise funds, and everybody cannot serve. If we cannot do the first three, it's okay. But at least people should be able to do the fourth thing, serving. That anyone can easily do.
Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please tell.
Prabhuji, all these are also applicable for us, Prabhu, or our nature is to serve regardless of what varna, or are there any specific instructions for those in a female body, Prabhu, in the
This is for everyone. Generally, Vedic setup, husband and whatever has varna of husband, that the counterpart used to be the varna of the wife also. So basically,
like for Kshatriyas and all, sort of a.
Yes, if Shatrani sees that Kshatriya is coming back, she will turn back. And if she sees that he has some wound on the back, then he has run away. Then he will tell she will not open the door and she will better go and die in the battle. This is for both male, female.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can I ask one more question? Prabhuji, if we are doing some service or anything else and we are not getting satisfaction, like anything, like in serving anything, we are not getting any satisfaction, what will be the reason?
Satisfaction you are not getting.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because your superior is not pleased, or the service is not up to your expectation. You are thinking of something, but you're not getting that. So can you elaborate on what is that service?
Basically, Prabhuji, is according to this course actually. I read almost we are on 18th chapter. But like after reading also the Bhagavadgita till here, I'm not getting any satisfaction of reading. मतलब it's like कि मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है अभी तक कुछ भी. मुझे ऐसा I feel like that.
Basically, it's not everybody's cup of milk to understand Shastras. Having said this, doesn't mean that I'm discouraging all of you to study Shastras and deeply. Some of you might be able to cook nicely for Lord. Some of you can make powerful network who can come and give funds. Some of you can simply go to the program place and cleanse it, put nice rangoli, put chatai, basically different, decorate it. So satisfaction will come based on our swabhava also. At the same time, having said this, one should not think that even I can tell you, it took me 15, 20, 16 years to figure out what is Bhagavad Gita, what is Ishwar, what is Bhagavatam, because the layer of modes are also there. One might have a particular swabhava of learning, teaching, but it also, the modes also have to become activated. The modes also should be deactivated. The bhakti also has to be revived. So for this, it takes time for the bhakti to purify a personality. So there was one grandfather who asked his grandson, who had come for a vacation, take this. He took him to the godown, and the godown had a lot of baskets which were dirty. He asked his grandson, take this to the nearby lake, fill with water and bring it. The grandson thought, this is not a vessel, it's a basket which has so many holes. If I go and take it, what will happen? Then, but still, because grandfather told, don't worry, just do what I'm telling. He went 10 times, but he could not fill the tank. At the end of the day, when grandfather came and saw the basket, the grandson was not able to see the basket because his goal was only to fill the tank. But then the grandfather asked him, okay, could you fill the tank? The grandson told, no. So what happened? I'm upset because I could not fill the tank. But then the grandfather asked, have you seen the basket? That time his focus shifted on the basket. Then he saw it was so dirty, it had become cleansed. It was like a black paint. Because of dust, it had become brown. But now, because of bringing water 4 or 5 times, that whole brown dust had completely gone. It was shining black. So similarly, the story is told to tell. So when we read Shastras, the first attempts of reading Shastras goes in cleaning our Rajoguna Tamoguna. And therefore, it's like a barrier. It's like we have a security system. Till the time we don't have the password, we can't crack it. So password for understanding Bhagavad Gita is devotion to Lord Krishna. Having said this, to the degree we develop devotion, to that degree, we can enter into this intricacies of this, what Prabhupada is trying to say here, what Acharya is trying to say here. We can able to connect the flows, application. So when we are reading right now, if you have come to Krishna consciousness in the first 3-4 years, the whole process of cleansing Rajoguna Tamoguna, it takes around 15-20 years to cleanse it. Slowly, this knowledge will become accessible.
Prabhuji, like I'm reading the shlokas, I am not able to understand the meaning, connect everything, but it's still, well, last 1 week I'm just feeling that I'm not getting satisfaction while reading Gita.
No, it's like that grandson who wanted to fill the tank with that basket, but grandfather had not ordered him to fill the tank. Grandfather wanted him to show that his basket is being cleansed. Similarly, when we are trying to read Gita, we want to fill the tank of our intelligence with information of Gita. But the purpose of Gita is transformation. Heart is being transformed. We are cleansed. Sarva Upanishado Gavavo Dogda Gopal Nandana Parthava Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amritam Bhat. Maline Mochana Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrat Gita Amrita Panam Samsara Malnasham. Every time you read Gita, you'll come to it in the 18th chapter, 62nd, 68, 69th verse. Krishna says, those who read Gita, they worship me with their intelligence. So every time we are reading Gita, we should understand we are offering Aarti to Lord Krishna with our intelligence. We are offering Deepa to Krishna, Dhupa, Deepa, Argyam, Vastram, Chamar, Venjan, the Aarti half-an-hour process. But every time you are in a company and you open Gita, soft copy or hard copy, or at home you are trying to open the soft copy or hard copy and reading, Krishna says we are worshipping Lord with intelligence. And we worship Lord, we are going to be purified. So we chant Hare Krishna, do you feel satisfaction? We don't feel satisfaction. But still we are chanting because we are being cleansed. So similarly, when we are reading Gita, we may not feel satisfaction because we want to understand what is happening, but it will take some time to come to that. Yasya Devi Parabhakti Yata Devi Tataguru Tasyante Katita Artha Prakashante Mahatmana. So knowledge, ours is descending process, not ascending process. So by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, if we continue our endeavor, Krishna's mercy will come on us. So what you are undergoing is not something new. Even I have gone through it. When I did my Bhakti Shastri course, I was figuring out what I'm doing.
Even whatever Mataji is
And
feeling,
when I
I am
started
also
doing,
feeling the
So
same thing.
Prabhuji, I should pray to Krishna for the mercy, right?
what you should do is you should continue the course, and you should not just log in at 7:30 and if we tell, okay, I'm also feeling the same, or we are missing the classes and you are telling I'm also feeling the same. First thing should become regular. Our percentage should be 100%. And after attending 100%, we can comment on this that I'm also feeling the same. So attendance is not 100% and we are not hearing it. We know they're going to YouTube and trying to hear it, and we are telling, no, we are feeling the same. No, it's not justified. We are being sincerely attending it. Sure, we will not be able to understand everything in Bhakti Shastri course. Bhakti Shastri
I'm
course
quite sincere
is
in
like a
attending
starter.
classes.
No, I'm not telling to you.
No, I'm just
I'm
telling you,
telling to
like,
people in general who are.
I'm trying to do my best, like
No,
attending the
I'm not
classes,
putting this. I know. I have seen you
reading.
attending.
But after class also, I read text, like whatever you tell, I repeat it. But
Very good.
maybe I'm not getting the knowledge. What?
It will come. I was saying something very important. So when I made this point about attendance, it is for everybody who's in the call now and who have not been attending regularly. For them, I'm trying to tell. So what I'm telling is, Bhakti Shastri course is an starter. When we have a course, there is starter with ginger, paste, and lemon, with lemon on ginger, with salads, with starter, some cutlet or something like that. The purpose of starter is to increase our hunger for the main feast. Similarly, Bhakti Shastri course is a starter. Now you'll understand, अरे Bhakti Shastri course हो गया, मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या करना है. Then you will start reading it again and again, again and again, again and again. Then Krishna will purify the layer of ignorance, passion. Because to the degree we are in touch with Krishna, Tamoguna, Rajoguna layer will go. And to the degree that goes, then we can easily enter into the secret of Bhagavad-Gita.
So Prabhuji, I should repeat this course.
Not repeat this course. This course is done. You read at sitting with yourself. Read the Bhagavad-Gita again.
Okay, Prabhuji.
There's
If
so much
what if
content
I
available
want to
in
repeat?
you can repeat. Most welcome.
Okay, Prabhuji.
What feeling you all might be having? I had the same feeling in my course. And then I started doing Bhakti Yoga. And then I understood, okay, this is how it has to be read. Okay, somebody told Prabhu, your Bhakti Shastri course is over. Do the TTC. Can you start teaching? So when I started teaching in 2015, that time I started reading again. Because you have to make notes now. So best is, if you want to know, Bhakti Tirtha says this in his book, that if you want to know subject 10%, hear it, listen. If you want to know it 20%, hear it, understand it. If you want to know for 30%, okay, make a flow chart of it. And if you want to know 100%, you teach it.
Yeah, teaching is best learning, Prabhuji, that I know.
Okay, so if you want to know it nicely, you can start teaching it once after completing. Yeah, always we can know it, but unless otherwise don't start teaching, it becomes difficult for us. And teaching also comes in time.
Yes.
After understanding to some degree.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So next section, 15 minutes. Sahajam karma kaunteya sa dosham api na tyajit sarvarambha hi doshena dhumen agnir ivamritaha. Yes. Someone can read.
I will read, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if his such work is full of fault. In conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. Even if one is Brahmana, he has to perform sacrifices in which animal killing is necessary. Similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he may be, he has to fight enemies. He cannot avoid it. Similarly, a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business, or he may sometimes have to do business on the black market. These things are necessary. One cannot avoid them. Similarly, even though a man is a Sudra serving a bad master, he has to carry out the order of the master, even though it should not be done. Despite these flaws, one should continue to carry one should continue to carry out his prescribed duties, for they are born out of his own nature. A very nice example is given here. Although fire is pure, still there is smoke. Yet smoke does not make the fires impure. Even though there is smoke in the fire, fire is still considered to be the purest of all elements. If one prefers to give up the work of a Kshatriya and take up the occupation of Brahmana, he is not assumed that he is in the occupation of Brahmana. There are no unpleasant duties. One may then conclude that in the material world, no one can be completely free from the contamination of the material nature. This example of fire and smoke is very appropriate in this connection. When in wintertime, one takes a stone from the fire, sometimes smoke disturbs the eyes and other parts of the body, but still one must make use of the fire despite disturbing conditions. Similarly, one should not give up his natural occupation because these are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. That is the perfectional point. When a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected with the devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within, and that is self-realization. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So when a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord, all defects in that particular occupation are purified. It's very, very important point. So therefore, our focus should not be which varna, but our focus should be the pleasure of the Lord. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruha siddhim paramam sannyasena digacchati. Yes. So now the section of karma is over. Now section of jnana starts. So now for a person who is able to follow jnana, how he can achieve perfection? That Krishna is going to mention from 49 to 56. Okay. Somebody else can read the translation.
One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Purport: real renunciation means that one should always think himself part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Since he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the results of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. That is actually Krishna consciousness. The person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. By such a mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for the Supreme. Thus, he is not attached to anything material. He becomes accustomed to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord. A sannyasi is supposed to be free from the reactions of his past activities, but a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting the so-called order of renunciation. This state of mind is called Yoga Rudha, or the perfectional stage of yoga, as confirmed in the 3rd chapter. Estva Atma Ratir Evasyat, one who is satisfied in himself, has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So till now, from first verse to 48th verse, Krishna was trying to tell about a sannyasa where a person is giving up the reaction of his work, the full work. So now what Krishna is going to speak about this is, he is going to speak about second type of sannyasi, when a person who perfects the tyaga, where he is performing duty and is able to give the fruit
Prabhuji, your voice is breaking, Prabhu.
action, then
Prabhuji, we will switch off the videos, Prabhuji. Voice is breaking.
Prabhuji, your voice is breaking, Prabhu.
Therefore, this is called as voice
Hare
is
Krishna,
breaking.
Prabhu.
Now,
Prabhuji, your voice is breaking, Prabhu.
okay, now it is clear.
Little better, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Now we are able to hear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, from first verse to 48th verse, what is being mentioned is about a person who is doing activity, he should give the reaction of that or fruit of that activity, tyaga. So that is the process mentioned. Okay, 1 to 48 is speaking about through your karma yoga, whatever fruits are there of that activity for Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, or everything is being expressed. Basically, Krishna builds up the platform. What is that? What is sannyas? Understand the 5 components. I'm not the doer, but there are still work, doer, and the knowledge in 3 modes, influence in 3 modes, determination in 3 modes, happiness in 3 modes. After telling this, he tells nobody is free of modes, and one has to give up the fruits of the action by performing it for the pleasure of Supreme. This is also sannyas, because he's giving up the fruits of one's actions. After one does this, the next step is, this is karma, perfection of karma. Then he's going to rise to the platform of perfection of jnana. And that is being explained here. So 49th verse speaks about a sannyasi who doesn't have to work, because he has been purified by giving the fruits of his action to Krishna. And that work means he did not work, perform his prescribed duties, but he has a sadhana. He has to continue that sadhana. And that is also what is being mentioned in the shloka, where, as translation is telling here, one who is self-controlled and unattached, who disregard all material enjoyments, can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest stage of freedom from reaction. So this Prabhupada is trying to tell here, sannyasi is supposed to be free from the reaction of his past activities, but a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this, even without accepting the so-called renunciation. Therefore, all of us, without accepting physically renunciation, we can, by practicing bhakti, we come automatically, we are rising from, till now, I can tell you, from 1 to 48 was speaking about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, so 49 to 55, it is going to speak about Jnana Yoga. But in Krishna consciousness, this is overlapped. There is karma, there is jnana, then there is dhyana, then there is bhakti. That is yoga ladder. But Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when we reading in the next section, Rupa Goswami says there are only 3 steps. There is sadhana bhakti, there is bhav bhakti, then there is prem bhakti. So Krishna is speaking about the traditional yoga ladder here. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us for Kali Yoga through Rupa Goswami a yoga ladder, which is simply sadhana bhakti, bhav bhakti, prem bhakti. Therefore, when you read Nectar of Devotion after this Bhagavad-gita, you will be able to realize it in first 1 2 chapters, what I'm trying to tell. So what Krishna is speaking here is about rising from a karma platform to a jnana platform. These qualities are being told here. Reaction-free work through jnana yoga. Therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning here, Yoga Ruda stage. This second type of sannyasi that Krishna mentions now, who doesn't have to perform his prescribed duty and who stops his prescribed duty but takes up the performance of Jnana Yoga by reading of literature, by understanding that he is not the body, and by focusing on Dharnashraya. So Dharnashraya, two kinds of Dharnashraya. This is vividly mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter. Second canto, first chapter, second canto, second chapter, second canto, third chapter. This kind of Gyanis, this basically Dhyanis and Yogis, they have Dharnashrayas Virata Rupa, they have Dharnashrayas Brahman, both are same, and they have Dharnashrayas Paramatma, they are Bhaktas. So basically, from this 49 to 55, this is becoming reaction-free work, rising to the Brahman platform. And if their Dharnashraya is Virata Rupa Brahman, they just take up their Brahma platform. But if the Dharnashraya is Lord Vishnu, they attain Bhakti. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atmana Sochitena Kanshati Sama Sarva Bhuteshu Mat Bhakti Labade Param. Because Karma is the first class, Jnana is the high school, but then the college or degree is Bhakti. So therefore, Krishna has spoken about the primary. I was going to speak about the high school, attaining Brahman through Jnana, from 49 to 55. Any questions? You'll see that section in the next Thursday. But till now it is it's clear to all of you what Bhagavad is trying to tell. Even if you are not understand anything in Bhagavad Gita, you don't have to worry anything. You should understand these three things. There is karma, there is bhakti, there is jnana. In between, whatever is there is detail. These are the three principles. There is karma, means a person performs his activities and offers it for Krishna, he gets purified. Jnana means a person doesn't do the work, but he takes up the sadhana of jnana, he gets purified. But he has to come to that platform over a period of practice of karma yoga. And bhakti, whether one is karma yoga, whether one is jnana yoga, anybody can practice bhakti and purify. So perfection of karma becomes karma yoga and bhakti is done. Karma mishra bhakti. Jnana mishra bhakti gives perfection to the jnana. But bhakti is not dependent on jnana and karma for perfection. So bhakti anybody can. At least this much you understand from the whole Bhagavad Gita. Yes.
Prabhuji.
Sorry, go ahead, Mats.
No, go ahead, Mats.
No, go ahead, Mats. So Prabhuji, this chapter second is also content summarized, and he talks about these three yogas. So what is the major, like why does he talk twice, or what is the flow, Prabhuji, here?
Chapter 2 speaks about first, chapter second if you start. 1 to 10 speaks about Arjuna's fifth doubt, Krishna clearing it and accepting him as Guru. Then 11 to 30 speaks about Sankhya Yoga, the soul, Atma Tattva. Correct? And from 30 to 49 speaks about prescribed duty. It speaks about that. Although after speaking about Sankhya Yoga, 31
Nishkama Karma Yoga, he speaks.
Yes, Nishkama Karma Yoga. With 31 to 35, he speaks about even if you don't accept it materially, of Vedic point of view, still logically explain, even if you expect that the soul doesn't exist, still you will not lament. And then later on he speaks about karma, Nishkama Karma. Then after speaking from 35 to 49, Nishkama Karma, keep away the sinful reactions away. Then from 49 to the last part of it, one more section comes in between. Last part comes about the perfected living being. That is how he talks, how he walks, how he is. Sthitadhira Muni. Sthitadhira Muni. So basically, it is speaking about the principle.
The ladder is also kind of explained there also.
Ladder because the content, but its principle explained there. But detail was explained here because that is at the beginning. Like when you start any book, there is a bird's eye view of the whole chapter. And at the end, when you come, the same bird's eye view is there. But now you read the whole book, therefore you can understand modes also. There is modes, there is karma, there is bhakti. Summarized. But here, what is in it for me? What I should apply? Is it I should take sannyas after reading Bhagavad Gita? Is Arjuna should not fight and should take go out to forest? No. Arjuna should give up the fruit of his action. by doing it for his pleasure. Till now that has not come. Till now, a person who is on the karma platform, how can achieve perfection? Tyaga, he should give the reaction of his work. Person on
Chapter 2
Jnana
also
platform.
he says, no, Prabhu. Chapter 2 also is saying the same thing, no, Prabhu. Giving
That
up
is
the
only
fruits of action.
same thing is being told here. Repetition of something is again and again
Emphasize.
done. But if this is in knowledge, that is also contents of Gita summarized. But there are no modes mentioned there, nothing mentioned there. Jnana, lot of Jnana is not touched there much. Sitadir Muni is touched there. Same karma, Jnana, Bhakti is mentioned there in chapter 2. But the way it is touched in chapter 18, it's a summary of all with what is practical application for you. So what you understood from chapter 2, what practical application you understood from chapter 2? Because Arjuna, at least Arjuna is getting confused there after hearing 2.49. Keep away all this included action. Again, from 33.1, he starts asking, you told me, and then I should fight, I should not fight. Again, 4.1 is getting confused. But here, Krishna is wrapping up everything and telling him, you don't have to take sannyas. You just give up the reaction of the work. For a karma yogi, perfection is give up the reaction by offering the prescribed duty, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That is still 48. If you are Jnani, you connect to Krishna and rise to Bhakti, attain Bhakti. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Suchit Nakangshati. Just don't get stuck up in Jnana. And then this is from 49 to 56. From 56 to 66, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. You don't worry about whatever I have spoken till now, karma, jnana, all these things. Just surrender it to me. That is the ultimate conclusion. So this kind of summary what Krishna is giving there is bird's eye view. Okay, these things are there. But here is wrapping up and telling call for action.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Surmi Mataji.
Prabhuji, I was just want to mention that yesterday I was listening to Maharaj's lecture in which he says that generally people say Bhagavad Gita is for everyone who wants to do Karma Yoga or who wants to do Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, but it's actually not. It's only for Bhaktas because Krishna says that to Arjuna that you are my dear friend and you can enter into the mysteries of my knowledge. So basically it's for bhaktas only, and who is in devotional service to Krishna can understand Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, true. To the degree we practice and our layer of Rajuna Tamona unveils, we can understand it more and more.
Generally, I see people saying no Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, please continue. You're telling something.
No, I just said, people say that Bhagavad Gita is for everyone, like who wants to follow the path of Ashtanga Yoga or Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, but it's actually not for everyone. It's only for bhaktas. Because Krishna says
that is eligibility. That is eligibility for understanding Bhagavad Gita. Only Bhaktasami Sakacheti. Because Arjuna was a devotee, therefore he chose him as an instrument.
So but that shows that he's giving a clear instruction that only if you're devoted to me, you can understand Bhagavad Gita. He never said that if you are a perfect Ashtanga yogi or if you are a perfect scholar, you can get into the mysteries of Bhagavad Gita. He never said. He said, because you are my dear friend, you can understand the knowledge or the sacred knowledge of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, that is shown in introduction only. Prabhupada says in the introduction or in the preface, to understand Bhagavad Gita, at least one should theoretically understand Krishna as supreme. Then only understand. Without doing bhakti, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. And even if you are doing bhakti and if you are not able to understand Bhagavad Gita or you are not being satisfied, don't worry. Krishna will reveal some knowledge in time to come. Prabhupada used to tell, I read my own books. So disciples told, Prabhupada, you only wrote. I did not wrote those books. Krishna has written those books. And every time you read Bhagavad Gita, you get a new realization. I cannot tell that I know Bhagavad Gita fully. Whatever I understood, I'm trying to explain to you. But every time I read, I may give new realization based on Acharyas, based on Prabhupada's mercy, based on Guru's mercy, based on my service attitude. So that continues, the journey continues.
How many times you must have read to reach at this point, Prabhuji?
I have not read much. 3 times, 4 times, not more than that. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, any no questions, no comments? We'll end now, 8:40.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I think 2 more sessions will complete.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai.